All right, as we increasingly move into this agentic era of business applications, one of the biggest questions is how do I make things like Dataverse more intelligent for the agentic era? And one of the preview features that I'm really excited about is business skills. This is something that just came out in the last few months from the Dataverse team, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this new feature and how to get started with it in your agents. So first things first, come here to the Microsoft Docs, learn.microsoft.com, and there is some documentation here on the overview and how to create and get started with business skills. All right, first things first. We need to go to the PPAC and set up some features. So you're going to go to aka.ms/PPAC, and within your environment, you want to come down here to Dataverse Intelligence and make sure that is turned on. That is a prerequisite to use business skills, so you're going to need to do that. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to modify one of your model-driven apps and add business skills to the sitemap so that you can start to interact with these. This will let you add them and modify them and everything else that you need to do. So once that's there, we can get started, and you're just going to go and create a new business skill. So let's open this one. This is a next best action engine. If I come back here to the docs real quick and let me scroll down, there is a really good repo here on GitHub. They've got some starter business skills for you to work with. But the idea is, how do we take various processes and procedures, things that are they're possibly captured in documents, or maybe it's in people's heads, and how do we codify this in Dataverse so that our agents can use it? So that's really the idea behind business skills, and I think it's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do, what I need to do is I need to add this as a row into Dataverse. Let's open this up here. And the first thing I need to pick is who can view this. Is it just viewable at the individual level or at the organization level? Next, I add in a unique name. That's something that I type in and becomes read-only after I've saved. And then I give it a name as well. Now, I have simply copy-pasted these from the GitHub repo as I've been getting this hello world together. Then the description. Now again, this came straight from the repo, and then the body. And so this is a pretty detailed one, but it's actually got SQL queries in it. And the idea is that it's going to look at a sales opportunity and then determine what is the next best action for the seller. And so this has all been codified here in a process, and this is now saved in Dataverse for an agent to call and utilize. Now, these are designed to be used with the Dataverse MCP connection. So that's how you call it. But that's basically how you get started with a business skill. So you turn on Dataverse Intelligence, make sure you add business skills, add that table to the navigation in your model-driven app, and then add a business skill in. All right, so once we've added that, what do I do with it? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started with an agent. I'm going to come over here to my agents. I have an agent called Next Best Action. And this agent's job is to determine what the next best action is for a given opportunity when the parent agent calls it. Now, this has been set up to work in a multi-agent orchestration, but I'll just show you with this agent. So I've connected it to the Dataverse MCP server, and in its instructions, I've given it the name from my business skills. So that's the name, and if I come here, that's what we're using. So let's go ahead and give it a try. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enter in my prompt. Helps if we spell opportunity correctly, and let's go ahead and run this. So it's going to reason over it. The MCP server has been called. It's going to look up the business skill. It's found it. And now it's had a failure of execution, and it's going to start looking through how to fix that. It's now running some of the queries from that business skill. So it's doing its thing. It's now determined, oh, I'm trying to create a new skill instead of using the existing, so we're going to try a different approach. It's really cool watching it learn how to solve the problem each time, kind of going through this the way a human would, as opposed to a more traditional tool like an API that's just going to say, I tried to do the thing and it didn't work. And so while it's taking a bit of time, it's really cool to watch it reason over this. So it's found it, and now it's starting to work through what the next best action should be based on this opportunity that we've got here in dynamic sales. So we'll give it another couple seconds here. And it's come back with our next best action. So it's pulled the details back from our opportunity. So you can see the numbers are correct. It's come up with some things to address and call the customer, send a proposal this week. Would you like me to help draft the communication? Yes, please draft the communication. And so it's going to go and do that, all based on the set of instructions that we've provided in Dataverse. So it's a way of making our agents not only smarter, but just more tailored to the standard operating procedures in our organization. If we have a certain way that we want things done, and this might be codified or it might be in people's heads, this is a way to add it into Dataverse and let our agents start to tap into that organizational knowledge. So it's a really cool preview feature from the Dataverse team. I'm planning to get much more hands-on with this, build some of my own business skills, and I'll share that with you later, but that's how you get started with it. Now, one more thing before I go. So you can see that it's come up with some communications for us, really cool. Now, these are solution aware. Now, again, you must have Dataverse Intelligence turned on for this to work in a solution, but if I come here to make sure I'm in the right environment, if I come here to my solutions, what I need to do, if I click Add Existing and I choose Business Skill, that's how I add this into a solution. Now, this is still in preview, and one of the things that I noticed when moving this between environments, using either an unmanaged solution or using a managed solution with a Power Platform pipeline, is that the GUID for the business skill is different in the target organization than it is from the source organization. Now, before everybody jumps into the comments, I agree with you. Reference data like this, we want to maintain GUIDs, generally speaking, for all the obvious reasons. Making life easier for ALM, not having to go and create unmanaged solution layers when we have to back out the lookup and add the correct one in the target organization and all that good stuff. For model context protocol, this may not necessarily be such a big deal because MCP, as we saw, was smart enough to kind of work out how to find it. So I'm kind of on the fence about this one. The purist in me would like to see those GUIDs maintained, but I also accept that in an agentic world it may not matter as much. But that is just something to be aware of, that when you move them in solutions, the GUIDs aren't maintained. If that's really important to you, then use a tool like the config migration tool to move your business skills between environments as part of your ALM process. But again, because it is still in preview, you really shouldn't be using this outside of dev and trial environments. All right, so that is everything you need to know about getting started with business skills. Thanks so much for watching. Go do something awesome on the Power Platform today, and I'll talk to you soon.